Uzbekistan, officially known as the Republic of Uzbekistan, is one of the prime countries in Central Asia. The country covers a vast land area of precisely 447,000 square kilometers, making it quite expansive in this regard. However, due to deserts and mountains dotting its landscape, not every part of the country is suitable for human habitation. Approximately 35 million people call this extensive land home, making it the most populous country in Central Asia. As you might expect, the capital city, Tashkent, is the most populous city in Uzbekistan and often serves as the initial destination for visitors. Tashkent, especially during the Soviet Union era, held significant importance as a trading hub. In fact, it was the second most populous Soviet city after Moscow and St. Petersburg. Today, Tashkent is home to approximately 3 million residents. Uzbekistan lacks any coastline along the seas, having only lakes and rivers within its borders. Among these, the Aral Sea stands out. It used to be one of the world's largest lakes, referred to as a sea at one point, but it has since shrunk, unfortunately becoming a shadow of its former self. Moreover, Uzbekistan is truly a gold-rich country, and I'm not speaking metaphorically. It is the fourth largest gold producer globally. They extract gold from their mines, and alongside gold, the region boasts various underground treasures, including uranium. Uzbekistan's terrain is so fertile that it ranks fifth in cotton production worldwide. Additionally, the country possesses natural resources like natural gas, oil, and coal. If we take a look at the history of Uzbekistan, it was once the most popular living center in Central Asia. It was a trading point that merchants considered a center between China and Europe, a Silk Road center where trade flourished. Cultural interactions were also quite common. The fact that Uzbekistan's lands became so rich and prominent attracted the attention of great rulers, such as Alexander the Great and Genghis Khan, especially the Mongols, who deeply plundered and destroyed Uzbekistan throughout the historical process. After Genghis Khan, the great ruler Timur dominated the lands of Uzbekistan. Emir Timur loved art and culture. For this reason, he brought scholars and philosophers from many parts of the world to Samarkand and ensured the development of the culture here. Timur's era also witnessed the construction of significant Islamic schools in Uzbekistan. For instance, the Rajasthan madrasas in Samarkand are recognized by UNESCO as the first madrasas built in Central Asia. Today, the Islamic atmosphere in the region is preserved in all its glory. Today, Uzbekistan is a fully independent country. In 1991, following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, it proclaimed its sovereignty. In this regard, the people of Uzbekistan take great pride in their own culture and history. Apart from the capital, Tashkent, the country is home to other popular settlements like Bokhara and Samarkand. Situated in Central Asia, Uzbekistan shares borders with Afghanistan and Turkmenistan to the south, Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan to the east, and Kazakhstan to the west and north. If you plan to visit the country for tourism, most nationalities can enter Uzbekistan without encountering visa issues. However, if you intend to stay for an extended period or work there, you'll need to obtain a residence permit and a work permit. To live in Uzbekistan, it's essential to learn the official language Uzbek. Uzbek and Russian are the two widely spoken languages in the country. Furthermore, over 90% of the population adheres to Islam. Therefore, we can characterize Uzbekistan as a Central Asian state that has embraced Islam. Uzbekistan is a sufficiently modern country where people enjoy freedom in matters of clothing and belief. Therefore, Uzbekistan is more inclined towards the culture of societies like Kazakhstan and Russia. It doesn't revolve around Arab culture. Moreover, due to its proximity to places like Afghanistan, it might be perceived as unsafe, but that's not the case. Uzbekistan is one of the most livable countries among the Central Asian nations. In fact, if you can earn American dollars here, you could practically establish your own kingdom in Uzbekistan, my friends, because, as in any other country, the power of money opens many doors here too. When you exchange even $100 in Uzbekistan, you will receive stacks of Uzbek sums. Undoubtedly, the first things that will catch your attention when you visit Uzbekistan are its bazaars, markets, and bread. There are many bakeries at various points where people are enthusiastically making bread. In Uzbekistan, You can find different types of bread with unique flavors that you might not have tasted before. The good thing is, you can easily buy these beautiful breads for about $1 each. Yes, bread is cheaper in Uzbekistan than in Europe. Since the country's food culture is mainly centered around meat, getting meat here is also extremely affordable. For example, you can enjoy a high-quality shish kebab for $3. What's also nice at the markets is that as soon as the vendors make eye contact with you, they offer you free samples of their products. This is actually a wonderful thing because it shows that people have confidence in the quality of what they are selling. So they aim to attract customers by offering these samples. Moreover, Uzbek people are known for their hospitality and friendly nature. Additionally, the marketplace, both in terms of size and the appearance of the stalls, closely resembles those in Mongolia. While strolling through the bazaars, you'll notice people's eyes shining and they genuinely smile at you. When you look at the Uzbek people, you can see the sparkle in their eyes. However, unfortunately, there's a bad side of the story. Some individuals who realize you're a tourist and not familiar with Uzbekistan might try to scam you. Of course, it's not fair to attribute this to Uzbekistan. You can encounter cunning individuals almost everywhere in the world. For instance, they might charge you 3 times the regular price for a taxi, or in places like Bokhara and Samarkand, where museums are free, people can pose as officials at the entrances and demand an entrance fee. Or in souvenir shops, they can tell you prices that are much higher than they should be. It's like they're playing tricks with your mind. Therefore, it's advisable to always stay alert. In fact, my recommendation is that when you visit a country, make sure to meet a local guide from that culture before you go and explore the country together. This way, with a local person by your side, there's no chance for people to take advantage of you. On the other hand, when you go to Uzbekistan today, no matter what your nationality or ethnic identity is, when they realize you're a tourist, they approach you with great joy and a friendly attitude. They are happy because people from all around the world come to see their country. Especially if you visit rural areas, local families will definitely want to host you, feed you, and make you feel at home. Their cuisine also boasts a unique specialty, which is meat dishes served with rice. One thing that resembles us in Uzbekistan is that people there drink tea from morning till night. My friends, however, they consume not only black tea, but also green tea abundantly. Additionally, they like to combine these teas with lemon or other flavors. By the way, let's not forget that horse meat and kumis are also widely used in Uzbekistan. If you happen to be a guest at someone's home in Uzbekistan, especially if they live in an apartment, you should definitely take off your shoes at the entrance, especially if you go to the capital, Tashkent, and speak Russian fluently. Here's the revised version of your script with commas, exclamation marks, and capital letters to change its tone. You can quickly make friends and get close to the locals. People in the capital mainly speak Russian in their daily lives. Someone who speaks Russian can smoothly integrate into Uzbek society. But there's one issue related to the climate. I would advise anyone planning to visit Uzbekistan in the middle of summer to think twice. Why? Because cities like Tashkent, Bokhara, and Samarkand become incredibly hot and humid. People are exposed to temperatures exceeding 50 degrees Celsius. Therefore, I'd suggest that anyone who wants to visit Uzbekistan do so between August and November. Of course, in a place with such scorching temperatures, you have the chance to enjoy a variety of nuts and fruits at very reasonable prices. If you love architecture and taking photographs, the heat might not matter much to you. Uzbekistan's historical heritage, shaped by the Silk Road, attracts people and makes it the tourism hub of Central Asia. In the evenings, life in cities like Bokhara, Tashkent, and Samarkand doesn't come to a halt. In these 3 cities, you can find many establishments promising you entertainment and delicious meals in the evenings. For example, while dining at a restaurant, you might suddenly see Uzbek dancers performing their unique dances in the square. Honestly, dance unique to Central Asian culture significantly enhances the pleasure of watching compared to Europe. Central Asian dances are truly graceful, and the dancers glide on stage like swans. Not only are their dances mesmerizing, but also their traditional costumes, which sparkle brightly. There are no restrictions on alcohol in Uzbekistan either. In the evenings at a place you visit, you can consume alcohol like vodka or whiskey as you wish and enjoy pleasant times according to your idea of entertainment. For example, besides authentic venues, you can also crank up the fun in nightclubs. People in Uzbekistan enjoy having fun, and nightclubs, especially on weekends, are packed to the brim. Additionally, the capital, Tashkent, experienced a devastating earthquake in 1966 with a magnitude of 8, and the people there still bear the pain of that earthquake. To give you an idea, in that earthquake, more than 36,000 buildings were destroyed, leaving over 300,000 people homeless. The earthquake was so powerful that even the aftershocks that followed the main earthquake measured 7 in magnitude. During that time, the people of Tashkent described living in the city as living on the back of an angry camel. Subsequently, Tashkent was rebuilt, receiving substantial aid from the Soviet Union. The city even got a metro system, transforming into a more beautiful and modern structure than before. Today, houses in Tashkent are mostly 4 or 5 stories high, not excessively tall. Many of them were built after the 1966 earthquake. These houses are typically comprised of minimal apartments. We're talking about 2-room apartments with 1 living room and 1 bedroom, measuring around 70 square meters. The tricky part is that after Russia declared mobilization against Ukraine, hundreds of thousands of Russians migrated to Uzbekistan. Therefore, the rental prices for these typical minimal apartments in Uzbekistan suddenly skyrocketed. And currently, landlords are asking for at least around $500 in rent. When you leave the markets and venture onto the streets, you'll notice another detail. Almost every vehicle on Uzbekistan's roads and streets is a Chevrolet. The Chevrolet brand from America has become almost a monopoly in Uzbekistan. The reason behind this is Uzbekistan's policy of collaborating with Chevrolet to produce more affordable vehicles for its people. Hence, Chevrolet vehicles flooded the streets of Uzbekistan. Furthermore, a significant part of Uzbekistan's territory is surrounded by mountains and hot lands resembling deserts. Much of the population lives in rural areas. In rural regions, you can see people engaging in sports like horseback riding and equestrianism, trying to preserve every bit of culture passed down from their ancestors. Especially in rural areas, people regularly consume meat. They have numerous traditional dishes containing meat, including horse meat. They often mix meat with rice, and even use the fat from meat in their bread. Among the most famous dishes regularly prepared in rural areas is, of course, Uzbek pilaf. This pilaf is no ordinary dish. It includes not only lamb but also ingredients like peas, dried grapes, and garlic. In addition to their cuisine, Uzbek people have a renowned tradition of carpet making. Handcrafted carpets made in Uzbekistan find buyers from various parts of the world. Uzbeks produce these carpets with great craftsmanship and sell them to foreign tourists at very reasonable prices in exchange for dollars. If you're in love with historical architecture, you must visit the city of Khiva in Uzbekistan. This city has been meticulously preserved since the 6th century. What makes Khiva so attractive is the absence of modern buildings. There are hardly any modern structures in the city. Many craftsmen in the city produce goods that match Khiva's historical charm. This land is rich with treasures and has been favored by many important rulers throughout history. It is the land of warm-hearted people and a unique culture. Uzbekistan cherishes its ancestors' heritage and embraces Islam, making it a true Central Asian haven. At one time, it was the lifeblood and capital of the Islamic world. For instance, Samarkand was known as the Pearl of the East, while Bokhara was a powerful center where Islam thrived. Taking Uzbekistan as a whole, it is home to around 35 million people and has been an independent state for only 32 years, since the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Although Uzbekistan bore some marks of Soviet Russia between 1924 and 1991, the Uzbek people managed to preserve their identity, language, and strong connection to Islam. Moreover, Uzbekistan is not only famous for its vehicles, but also for having the largest bazaars in Central Asia. When you look from above, the covered market in Tashkent resembles a dome or a tortoiseshell. Those familiar with the city know that the entire population does their shopping and fulfills their needs in this market. If you focus on a specific food item, they will offer you a taste of it, hoping you'll be more inclined to make a purchase. In addition to that, you can easily find sunflower seed vending machines, Samarkand halva, and the sour cheese they call kurt in Uzbek bazaars. In places like Tashkent and Samarkand, not only ready-made products but also the famous Uzbek bread is made. They have elevated the art of bread making to such heights that bakers literally immerse themselves inside the tandoor, their traditional clay oven, to bake the bread. They never compromise on the quality of their work and make every sacrifice possible to produce the most delicious bread. Watching the making of Uzbek bread, which is unique to the country, is as enjoyable and intriguing as tasting it. I'm sure you have never seen bakers anywhere in the world putting so much effort and passion into making a single product. The result of this immense dedication is the Uzbek bread itself. Due to the various ingredients used in Uzbek bread, it is more filling and nutritious compared to regular bread. In fact, it is said that soldiers used to take this bread with them to wars, as it could sustain them for up to a month without getting spoiled. At least that's what Uzbek bakers claim. On average, a single bakery produces around 8,000 of these famous Uzbek bread loaves daily in Uzbekistan. The appetite-inducing allure is not limited to their delicious bread alone. This place stands out as one of the most carnivorous countries in Central Asia and is renowned for its delectable street food. During Soviet rule, they were deprived of preserving these culinary traditions for many long years, causing Uzbek cuisine to lose its vibrancy. However, nowadays, the streets of Uzbekistan are once again vibrant and, so to speak, exuding life. The Uzbeks proudly consider themselves the unrivaled center of pilaf in the world. Local restaurants kickstart their day at 8 a.m., embarking on the art of preparing this mouth-watering dish. But mind you, they don't use small pots for this masterpiece. They cook it in colossal cauldrons. These cauldrons are filled with kilos of meat, rice, chickpeas, carrots, and oil. For instance, a 100-kilo meat pilaf takes in 40 liters of sunflower oil. The first step in preparing the pilaf is to bring the meat and oil together in this grand cauldron and cook them to perfection. The Uzbeks are not fond of undercooked meat, so it's essential for the meat to be thoroughly cooked in the oil, losing its red color in the process. After that, they add the carrots and chickpeas to blend with the succulent meat. Finally, the rice, the star ingredient of Uzbekistan's national dish, is added to the cauldron, turning it into a delectable pilaf. Until the pilaf is fully cooked, they place trays on top, and hours later, it becomes ready to be savored. This is how the preparation of Uzbekistan's national dish generally unfolds. Once the meal is ready, the master chefs offer their prayers, gently blending the components that make up the pilaf and presenting it to the delight of their customers. The reason why Uzbek pilaf isn't purely white is that the carrots impart their color to the rice, giving it a delightful hue. So, when you visit Uzbekistan, 3 main ingredients related to food should come to mind: plenty of bread, abundant rice, and loads of meat. These 3 elements hold a special place in Uzbekistan's culinary culture. Therefore, if you have any plans to visit or even live in Central Asian countries, you must have a fondness for meat, and you should not hold any grudge against it or be distant from it. Not just beef and lamb. You should also get accustomed to eating horse meat. Yes, there are families in Uzbekistan who prepare pilaf with horse meat. However, this meat-eating habit has increased the risk of heart and vascular diseases among the elderly population. But some people say that the heart diseases of Uzbeks are not related to meat, but to the oils used in cooking. In the rural areas of Uzbekistan, there's also a distinct type of pastry known as samsa. It resembles a seashell in appearance. The rural people of Uzbekistan refrain from buying bread or other dough-based products from outside. In fact, they often use traditional oven fires for cooking rather than gas stoves. One of the significant factors contributing to the deliciousness of Uzbek cuisine is this traditional cooking method. For example, nearly every household has a closed oven where they prepare various pastries and bread inside this samsa pastry. They can include chicken or other types of meat as well. Does Uzbekistan excite people? Not only with its historical sites and cuisine, but also with its daily life. For example, Tashkent is the most populous city in Central Asia with a population of 3 million. If you've been to Russia before, you may feel that the city reminds you of Russia in many ways. For instance, the streets and roads in Tashkent are very wide. Despite its vast land area of 449,000 square kilometers, the relatively small population in Uzbekistan has led to spacious roads and considerable distances between buildings in its cities. Additionally, the architecture of the buildings also bears a resemblance to Russian buildings. In fact, even the Soviet-era playgrounds can still be found intact in the backstreets of the city. The fact that similar structures exist in almost every country that was once part of the Soviet Union, and that they bear such close resemblance, has always been a surprising reality to me. These days, Uzbekistan receives a considerable number of immigrants from Russia, and you can see both Uzbek and Russian languages on many signs, especially in the capital. Russian holds an important place in the lives of Uzbeks, and you can find Russian writings everywhere, particularly in bookstores. In the streets of Uzbekistan, you will come across numerous street vendors. People sell various products along the roadsides. Moreover, Uzbekistan has moved away from being a closed-off country, and Western famous chain stores have started to establish their presence in the country. However, it is truly saddening to witness children begging on the streets of Tashkent. When you sit in a fixed spot on the street, someone might approach you and ask for money. Of course, they are being sent by someone, and when they don't get anything from you, they disappear from sight. You can also see pigeons painted in different colors on the streets. At first, you might think they belong to a unique pigeon species due to their colors, but no, they're actually painted, and there is a purpose behind it. If you want to take a photo of these birds, the person feeding them will ask you for money. In a way, they are earning money through the pigeons. The metro system is crucial for transport in Tashkent. People generally use the metro for their intercity travels. This metro was constructed as Central Asia's first metro in 1977 and opened for service. As you know, one of the most dazzling aspects related to the Soviet era is their exceptionally well-crafted metro stations. In Uzbekistan, too, every metro that was opened during that time captivates people with its visual appeal. For intercity travel, they often use trains in Uzbekistan. The train staff consists of men who wear smart uniforms to the best of their ability. While the minimum wage in Uzbekistan amounts to $320, ordinary workers earn around $500. As a result, there is a significant flow of the young population from Uzbekistan toward European and American countries. Uzbekistan offers an incredible variety of culture and cuisine that will surely satisfy you, but it seems to fall short of being a country where you can earn good money for a permanent living. You can like the video and become a channel member to support our channel. Goodbye.